So in Mixpeek, there is the concept of collections, which are effectively a logical grouping of the data that you ingest and search. And just to show you a high-level overview of how collections relate to different data points, we have within our organization, we have a namespace, and we talk about namespace in a different video. And then within namespaces, we have collections. And collections contain assets, features, and various other types of entities. And when you have a collection, that collection is that grouping of assets that we ingest. So let's just quickly walk through the creation of an ingest. You have two approaches here. One is you can actually create a collection manually. And so here we're just applying the collection name. And then it returns a collection ID. And just like everything in Mixpeek, we can use the ID of a data point, or we can use the name of that data point. The IDs are idempotent, the names can be changed. And so we have this collection, and then we can ingest assets into that same collection. So we've created that collection. It's called bar here. And so now we can actually ingest this image into this collection called bar. And here we're just going to extract one simple feature using the multimodal embedding model. And we're doing so within this namespace here called T. I've already created it from before. Oh, it looks like we only have these models available to us in this namespace. So let's just quickly use that. Cool. And so we are now ingesting the asset here, extracting the features and throwing it into the bar collection. And just like everything in Mixpeek that's asynchronous, we can pull the status of the task just so that we can kind of see the progress of the ingestion here. So it looks like it's finished. We have the output here, we have the asset ID, and we have the collection ID that it ingested into. And we can also list the collections that we have in this namespace. Again, we don't have to use a namespace. Namespaces are just how we isolate our data, how we supply embedding models to the isolated data, etc. And so in this namespace, we have 3 different collections. And so we have the ability to actually not create a collection up front. And so Mixpeek will actually automatically create the collection for you if the collection name doesn't exist, right? And so if we do bar 2 here, it's going to do the same process that we did before. But now when we actually list the collections, we'll have a new collection down here called bar 2. And just like before, we can list by the collection ID, or we can list by the collection name. When we delete a collection, we delete everything inside that collection. That's inclusive of the features, the assets, etc. And so that is the concept of collections. Collections, just to summarize, are the ability to kind of logically group the assets, the features, and everything else in Mixpeek. And it's really important because when we have a collection, we can write more performant queries because the collection ID is then how we build indexes in the backend. And so we want to ensure that the collections that we define are actually in a relatively even distribution of the assets that we ingest. So thanks for listening.